What's up guys, Matt with BleepinJeep, everything off-road, none of the boring stuff. Today I'm going to show you how to install this Crawltek Offroad Revolutions bumper onto a Jeep JL. Not only that, but we're going to put on the worn winch and the rough country LED light bar goes in the bumper. All that coming up. Let's get started. Alright guys, it's me and this is my old man. He's going to help us out on this project today. The first thing that you need to do is get your little clip remover tool. If you don't have one, you can use a screwdriver and remove those clips on the top. Next thing, we're going to disconnect the factory light harness that lights up those little fog lights. Now we need to look at these 8 bolts. There's 2 in the middle and 2 on each outside section, and we're gonna take those off with the impact. And if you don't have access, go ahead and use your socket wrench, and then the whole bumper will just slide right off, and this is what you'll be left with. Now I'm going to take the Crawltek bumper, set it out so you can take a look. It comes with these fancy little pieces for the sides, if I can figure out how they go, just like that. And what's great about this bumper is you can paint all these little add-on pieces a different color if you want to add a little effect. Now this front plate comes zip tied in place, so everything is the way it should be when it's installed, so it's pretty simple and self-explanatory. These 4 holes here line up with 4 bolts that we just took off of the factory Jeep bumper. So I'm going to take this front piece off and set it aside for now. And I've got a rough country light bar that I'm going to put on this thing. Now when I got the light bar, I got a 21.5 inch. I thought that was 20 inch. Apparently there's a big difference between 20 inch, and some light bars are exactly 20 inches and some are 21.5, depending on how they measure them. So if you had a 20-inch light bar, this factory or this bracket comes with the bumper and would fit right in there. But I had to manufacture my own little mounts because this light bar is a little bit wider than the one that was set up for the bumper. I'm pretty sure Crawltek told me that they used a rigid light bar for the setup for this. But with that, whatever you do, get a 20-inch exact light bar from end to end. Now this is the hardware that we're going to use to install the entire bumper, and we're going to put these 4 bolts on each side with this little clip, and the clip is helpful if you push it on with a socket. That seemed to help because it's hard to get on there. So it'll look just like this, and that'll keep those bolts in place while you slide the bumper on, and you don't have to worry about it. Now my JL is not a Rubicon, and this bracket here comes from the factory for the Rubicons to have the automatic disconnect sway bar, but it gets in the way a lot. I've seen this thing off-road and it's constantly hanging up on stuff, and there's no need for it if you don't have a Rubicon JL. So I'm going to cut those off and get rid of them. Now we're just going to slide the bumper on and put it in place with those 8 bolts on either side. This is what it looks like from the inside, and you can just barely get those nuts on, and then get a socket wrench up in there. You can use an impact on the 2 inners, but on the outers it's a little more difficult because it's cramped up in there. Now for the lights, we're going to take the factory harness off the old bumper, and I'm going to take the new light bar and connect it to the factory harness. That's going to make it so much easier on me not having to wire the lights. So I'm testing them here to make sure which ones I wire to. Basically, black goes to black and white and red goes to white on the light bar side. The reason there's 2 wires on the one side is because there were 2 lights and now we're moving to 1. So I just connected the 2 to 1. Alright, next up we're going to take our fair lead and we're going to attach it to this piece that comes with the Crawltek bumper and put it on your bumper, and next we're going to put the winch on. So there's a hole in the bumper for the winch lines, which is really nice that they've thought of that. And then you're going to set your winch down on it, pull it all the way forward and tighten it down. Now we need to feed the electrical lines for the winch up and to the battery, red to red, black to black. Then I'm going to spool in the winch line. Make sure to follow your winch's instructions for that. And hopefully, unlike me, you won't get it all tangled up in a big knot. Oh, Beautimus Maximus. Look at that. So pretty. I opted for the Sidewinder hook for this Xeon 10S winch. So awesome. Next up, we're going to put the light bar and bracket in, and it's very simple. The nuts are just welded onto the back already, so you don't have to mess with those. And these little screws are inset, so they're nice and flush, very sleek. Now, this thing is going to go on the end, on the corner here, and you're going to have to hold the nuts on the back side for this. So it's pretty difficult on it's pretty easy on the outer two, and then this one right here helps if you put some tape on the back end of a wrench, and then you'll be able to slide it down in there. In hindsight, I probably would have done that first before I installed the bumper. But this is what it looks like after installed. It's very beautiful, super awesome. I really like how this bumper has a little customization feature, so you can paint those pieces on the corners. You can paint that front piece that goes around the light bar to match your Jeep if you'd like. It also has a stinger option. There's 3 holes on the top, so you can add a stinger if you'd like to. You can add whichever light bar you'd like as long as it's 20-inch. So you can have, this one in particular from Rough Country has a spot in the middle and floods on the sides, which is super cool. And it even has an LED strip right down the middle for when you don't need much light at all. Although I didn't use that because I used the factory switch. But if you wanted to do that and install your own relays, see that little strip right down the middle is just a very small strip of LEDs if you're just cruising around and don't need a lot of light. Now keep in mind these Warn Xeon winches are a little bigger than winches from the past, so make sure if you get a bumper it will fit this Xeon, and this Crawltek does. It was modeled for the Xeon specifically. Of course it'll fit all other winches as well. These little pieces on the edge give it a nice little touch, and you could even install your own little lights on the sides too. Maybe some turn signal lights or whatever you wanted to do over there. I think in the future I might paint these red or dark gray. I'm not sure of the paint scheme of this Jeep yet, but that'll all get figured out in the future. Thank you for watching, guys. I appreciate it. Make sure to hit the thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Check out our other videos, and I'll leave a link to this bumper down below so you can check it out or buy one for yourself. We'll see you next time.